Hi guys, and welcome back to the SGMYID Female Esports League qualifiers, very last qualifier of this season's FSL. We're about to get into game for game number 4. Sorry for the long break. I mean, we were Asterisk was wrapping up their game with
Yeah,
Team
wrapping up is
Dalgi.
right. Yeah.
Wrapping up, they almost lost that game too. We're since we are running like a concurrent sort of
Yeah.
bracket system, we for the earlier couple of games we've only been able to be cast for half of the game, so we weren't able to broadcast that one. But we are finally into game number 4 between Asterisk as well as Team Corgi's butt.
Yeah. So one thing I don't want to see this game is Candleburn picking up the Akali, which has been nerfed. I think the current iteration of Akali is probably one of the more sad versions because now you don't have all the mobility and assassination potential that pre-nerf Akali had. So I feel like that is a no-go for me. The Braum though is smart here on the red side because this denies the Oran pick. Like I was talking about earlier today, if you have Braum, you can pretty much put the Unbreakable up. Call of the Forge God cannot be pushed through that. So you get this. You can also play an Ashe, which a lot of people feel, does match up pretty well against the Misfortune in terms of range and value. So that is also another option you could look to go towards.
Yep, a lot of people, us included. Also, for the side of Team Corgi, just want to drop this here real quick because once we go into game, it'll show up as boxes. Top lane, I believe it is Coco. If you can't read the Chinese like us, we were trying to figure out how to read this ID before we realized, wait, when it gets in the game, it's not going to matter. You can't see it. But for the rest of you who are like, what are those Chinese characters? How do we read them even though we're Chinese? It's 虚拟一生繁华. Did I practice that? Who knows? Who knows? We had a long break.
It's like Google Translate the audio in your ear. And it's like, okay. But looking at the graph right now, I just want to highlight that Mayo did manage to get the Aatrox. Mordekaiser was banned, and I think that was what her previous picks today were. In this case, no set, no Aatrox. No set, no Mordekaiser, rather. We'll be moving towards the Aatrox. So, all in all, I feel like they have a decent standard sort of meta composition as one would expect.
Ooh.
Oh man, no Senna, please.
What do you mean no?
No, it's such a slow champion. It takes too long to scale up, and
That
by the
is
time you
true.
hit the late game, right, it's one of those weird situations, right? Yes, you can scale. Yes, you will become a late game monster, but if you have to survive to that point, right?
Yep.
I don't know if you can do so against like the endless onslaught of aggression coming in from Asterisk.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm interested to see is that Team Corgi, we saw them play their earlier game versus ACJ MRZ, and it was such a different style. That was the game where Coco went absolutely bonkers in the top lane. The Aurelia versus Ryze match that got hit so early, snowballed, and then by 20-25 minutes, game was done. So if they, since they are going with the Senna Trundle Braum route, it's such a different playstyle that I'm really not sure how they're going to adjust to this change so swiftly.
Interesting that all the junglers being banned out right now. J4 Olaf and Lee Sin removed. I feel like right here is a Gragas game coming in for Lustreless. I think the Gragas is Gragas is probably going to be the best option here.
Yeah, because Lustrous as well, when you think of her own champion pool, like plays a lot of Sejuani as well as Gragas. So I mean, like most of those off the board, exactly the Sejuani ban. Looks like might be that Gragas comfort pickup.
Oh, coming with the Aatrox.
Yeah, they need a bit more damage as well on this team because you don't really... Senna's not a Jinx, right? You don't quite go all in just on the Senna.
I was actually just talking to one of the casters about this matchup, like the Camille into Aatrox, and like why Senna is important for this matchup. It's because when you do use the Hextech Ultimatum and you you lock Aatrox in the box, right? The way you have to play this matchup is you basically use the untargetability of the Hextech Ultimatum to dodge the last Darken Blade Q. So you basically use like the hook shot to dodge out of Q1 and Q2. You hit him and you get a bonus attack speed. He tries to proc the Q3, you lock him in a box, and then you fight, right? Then Senna, with the global presence of the Dawning Shadow, heals you up and shields you, and then punches Aatrox down as well. And from then, once you get the small lead, snowballs. So I think like I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but like that's the best way to play this matchup, and I feel like they do understand that this is how they should be playing it.
Ooh, Ari. That's Interesting. So our criticisms of the Corgi composition
Oof.
were that it's going to take too long to scale towards late. Ari's kind of that bridge that's going to take you from that early mid into that point where your Senna becomes very strong. I'm not sure I'm entirely sold on
If
Ar-
Ari doesn't take cleanse here, she dies
Mhm.
at level 3. Because this is the classic, like I don't know if you've seen this in the previous season. Um, LS calls it like the Avengers bot lane, right? So it's like Talia Pantheon, and you basically just W stun. Then because you can't move, it's a point and click stun. Talia flips you into her team, and like
Mhm.
you just die, right?
Mhm.
And then because that sort of like 2v2 power is there, you snowball. And the reason it's called the Avengers is because when they arrive in a fight, they look like the Avengers. Right? Right the wall, they don't like arrive and they pose and like So that's like why he calls it the Avengers. But the power of this is still there. Very high kill potential and very high global presence.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think that for the side of Corgi, we were talking about the Ari. You look at the Trundle
Mhm.
pickup. I mean, Trundle's not the best sort of aggressive jungler that you have out there. However, because they do have that Ari,
Yeah.
I think really need to see Corgi play a bit more aggressive, especially post that level 6. I want to
Mhm.
see the Ari roaming around, trying to make stuff happen around the map, especially towards topside for the Camille.
This becomes like a weird skill matchup because if you can't kill the Ari early on,
Mm-hmm.
and she manages to back and get a lost chapter or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can her mana is consistently refreshed. She then becomes the one with the push prio.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna be wave clearing very quickly at level 6, level 7, level 8. Once she does get that sort of access to mana regeneration, and then it becomes a big problem because
Mm-hmm.
even though Ari is roaming, she's always there first. You might be able to follow through with the Grand Starfall from Pantheon, but like still for the most part, once Ari arrives first, there's this small delay that Pantheon needs to kind of wait to
Yep.
sort of chase through. And I think, yeah, play towards top. Bot lane, just like let him AFK farm. If they've been practicing Senna Braum, we will be able to see it in the lane. So
Mm-hmm.
the one thing is Misfortune Rakan is going to push them in early. Senna Braum is going to be stuck under turret, right? I want to take some time to like pan the camera down and just watch her CS under the turret because it's so frustratingly tough to CS under turret as Senna unless you've been practicing that matchup. Because you kind of need your support to help you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, we'll need to see it for sure. Talking about a support that would be really good at that has got to be Vayne, right?
Yep.
We were talking about this a bit in their early game versus ACJ MRZ about how Vayne was a support from last FSL season's SGMYID winner, of course, top 10 dinos. We were thinking, this season without top 10 dinos, they kind of disbanded. I think the entire team all went to some. They split up or doing their
think,
own things.
Swabi-
Cindy, Yurif moved
Yeah.
back to Indonesia.
I mean, she was always playing out of Indonesia for top 10, right?
That is true. And then she was flying
Yeah.
here for the competitions. And then so Vayne is on Team Corgi right now. And then Bubby, as you're talking about, is on Team Lannister, who is the Thailand team that
yeah, they're
won.
representatives.
They were on that so fast. They heard top 10 dinos disband. They're like, Bubby, you want to
Po-
come
poach,
jungle?
yeah.
You want to come jungle for us? This was like December. And they were like,
No, like
so fast.
if there were poaching like
Poach mode.
problems, right? I feel like one of the players would be like, "So, how do you feel about like Game of Thrones?" And then like, there's the code, right? They're like, "Oh no,
Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones." Lannisters, no.
New season. Game of Thrones. Yeah, so I mean, it's really good to see, of course, though, that the girls are on different teams and are doing well as well. But I mean, if we're gonna look at good supports,
Oh, yeah.
currently playing FSL, definitely Vayne's way up there.
And currently, like I feel in this meta more so than anything, like bot lane is very important because
Mhm.
if you can get solo kills in bot lane, don't okay, solo kills is a bit of a stretch. You can get like advantages in the bot lane, right? That's the thing that's gonna allow you to reset more efficiently. It's gonna allow you to rotate over to take early heralds, allows you to rotate over to dragon to pick up those free objectives, right? So the bot lane is so important in this patch that it's almost a make or break point for a lot of teams. And I feel like teams have been like realizing this, like, oh, if we gank the living daylight out of bot lane, it's win condition in and of itself. Like if you were watching the G2 match yesterday, I think like in 15 minutes, Caps had like 7 deaths or something like that. Yeah, and he was playing Senna, right? So yeah, you can see where this is starting to go.
Yep, and with that, guys, we are spawning on Summoner's Rift for game
Right.
number 4 of the Female Esports League SGMYID qualifiers, being casted out of sunny Singapore. Not that we're
yeah.
hashtag bias casters or anything.
No, I call it like I see it, man. If it's good league, it's good league. You know, I'm not a like, oh, because you're from this region, therefore I have prior expectations. Nah, man. I'm just like, I know each region has their own distinct idiosyncrasies, but I'm just here for the good league.
Yep, hungry cast, hungry for some good games.
Oh, I actually had lunch already because Jenny was very nice to order takeout for me. Well, pick up takeout for me.
Yeah, I was your grab food delivery. We weren't sure because you know, we did have that long earlier break because Asterisk and Dalgi were playing. It was going to be at least I think half an hour. I was wondering if I had time to walk out, so I just walked out really quickly anyway.
You know what's funny?
Bought food.
The sort of like egg fried rice box is the stereotypical American takeout box.
Yeah.
So I was like, huh?
It's so good
Yeah.
though. Like, yeah, I even had time to pick up some milk tea on the way back. Thank you, Asterisk, I guess, for the game. I know we were giving them a bit of grief in CS about how their game went on so long, but it worked out well.
It was okay.
You've
I was
been
just saying the
griefing
draft-
teams for like 6 years in League.
I feel
Alright,
like
I've played League with you. You've just straight up nothing but griefing every game, all day, every day.
Jenny is a true support-only e-girl.
Hey, I play AD. I mean AD carry.
Alright, so both junglers actually starting with red. Respective opposites of the map. More importantly, Lustreless now looking for a play here, I think. Like I said, you could opt to cheese mid, and here we go, the Avengers duo coming in. All you need to do now is land a W, and it's a guaranteed kill. Actually, just walking through might be able to find it.
Nice.
I'm telling you, this is the most broken and annoying 2v2 kill lane in the game. The problem is if you can't convert, right? So I said level 3, Lustreless was one step ahead of me. Went to level 3.
Jolene definitely exceeding all our expectations over here at the desk, but Yura as well walked a bit forward, right
No
at
one
the
expects
start
level
of
2
that.
cheese.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Absolutely no vision. You're like, wait, what?
What was she doing?
Literally, I'm level 1. 4 CS in.
That's actually, yeah, that is actually a pretty bad because you are still level 1, right? You don't expect like
On the first
of
wave,
all
literally.
people, Talia level 2 gank, really?
Exactly. Literally the first wave. That's rough.
The good news is Yura didn't use flash, so that sort of repeat gank is a lot harder to perform because as long as she paces herself in the lane properly, not like
and
this,
once she hits that like level 3 and she has her charm, she's a bit less susceptible to that because you want to charm.
If I were her, I'll take level
level
charm
2
level 2
E-charm, exactly.
to charm
You're-
Pantheon out this time. Oh, okay, there you go, flipping her back in. Doesn't have the level 3 just yet, but it should be able to pick this one off with the Q. No? Cannoburn will get ignited up, but that is a flash and ignite expended by Yura there.
Yeah,
And we'll have to base for the second time in 3 minutes.
yeah, that's rough. She also has Cappuccino actually waiting in the wings, doing the wolf camp as well. So it's a bit of an inconvenience. Not all that big.
I just want to point out that Lustreless only did 2 camps, right? So 8 CS is 2 camps. She got level 3 off leeching mid EXP because she ganked twice, and she's like, okay, after I force Ari back, I'm just gonna sit here and clear the wave with you, and I'll get EXP from that.
typical.
Traditionally, you can't get level 3 off 2 camps, by the way.
Yep, and Mayo right now gonna just barely not catch Cappuccino out over in the tri-bush. Wanna just actually walk
She
through
might
the
die
river
here.
for vision, didn't actually drop a ward. Yeah, she's in a bit of a bad spot. Gonna probably get pillared.
Yeah, we'll see where the pillar comes out. So it's gonna provide a bit more terrain just behind Mayo.
Lustreless.
Lustreless
The
is
backup.
here though. But the reason why this 2v2 is kind of interesting for Camille Trundle is that when you put the pillar up, you immediately give the Camille a space to hook shot too and extend. You effectively extend her range of engagement. Mid is pushing. They're going for the all-in. Fumi once,
Trundle.
shame on you. Fumi twice. Lustreless is here looking to make the play. Will not be able to knock her back in with the seismic shove. So Cappuccino will just walk away. But if Cannoburn keeps playing like that, like Yura's gonna be afraid. Like, every time she lands, it's like, oh, what if Lustreless is behind me?
Exactly, that was what I was just about to say as well. Even without vision, you're just, because Lustreless has been so proactive in the mid lane and going top as well. Yura's just never gonna know if Lustreless is waiting around.
Oh, good to
And
see it.
Candleburn is exactly the sort of player who would bait that. Like she would play aggressive just to make Yura think that Jolene
like
is there
literally psych
when
you out,
she's
right?
not. That's like first 5 minutes done. That's a job well done right there.
Uh-oh. She used the charm already.
Oh, bot bush now.
She's getting zoned out actually, so because this is gonna be pushing, Candleburn actually flashing forward, finally ending stun. It's a double flash, man!
What?
If you're in the mid laner right now, you all chat like, come on guys.
What?
Seriously?
Like
Seriously?
Oh, I shouldn't be laughing because I'm sure Yura feels really
That's the worst
bad
feeling in the world, yeah.
right now. But that was chef's kiss. That was so good.
This is the part where you become more determined to win the game. And then like once the Nexus explodes, you all chat, getting mid some more.
GG
you know, kind of
easy.
thing, you know.
You just
'Cause
all
it
chat
actually
easy.
killed people.
And the thing is, because Candleburn and Let's just both use Flash, and you're like, you know, that's a lot of resources to expend just for another gank. But when you think about it, you look at the side of Team Corgi, they've got a Trundle on their team. So the thing is, you're not really worried about the Trundle gank.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why Candleburn and Let's just can afford to use their Flash a bit more frivolously, a bit more aggressively in this way. And also, it's not, it's a pre-level 6 for the Camille. It's just a very good window for them to make these style plays.
Yeah, the reason also why I think Candleburn is so aggressive with a flash is because even though they land charm, it's really hard to push the damage through the E, because a lot of it is like very telegraphed, right? You think about how Ali does her chain, a CC or damage chain. It's very telegraphed even with the Trundle player. So in a 2v1 gank, they still might be unable to kill Candleburn, even though she doesn't have flash. Mayo now level 6 looking to make something happen, but Cappuccino is here. They're looking for it though, as multiple Qs will be missing. Mayo now in a lot of problems. Will be able to lifesteal up though with the Q not hitting the W, might end up hurting her. Here comes Lustrous for the assistance. Mayo is going to heal up from that takedown assist. Could have been a lot worse after she missed the Q1 and Q2, but thankfully Q3 connected and she was able to heal up.
Yeah, and also at that point, it really, even though she missed the Q, it really did just look like Lustreless and Mayo in comms are like, mine, and
Definitely won it.
and then Jolene was like, alright, she got the KS with that Q.
They're going to take the Blast Cone over, and the teleport was used from the top side by Coco, I believe, to get back into the lane. So there's a bit of 20 CS, about a 20 CS differential right now. She's not really full pushing the wave, in fact. We'll be freezing it here for the time being.
Yeah, I like what Asterisk has been doing the first 7.5 minutes. We saw them in game number 2 where we were praising them for playing a very controlled, measured, textbook type of game. I think because this is their 3rd game of the day, I feel as if, like, you know, they've had that warm-up, especially game 2 where they nearly lost to Dalgi as well. I feel like right now they're like, you know what, we've been together for 3 years, we're Team Asterisk, we need to really get things going, prove that, prove why people think that we're the strongest team in Singapore.
Herald is going to be spawning right now, so there is what you would expect a lane swap to come out, possibility rather, to hit to the top side, push, basically you push in bot, move over to the top side, take Herald with 4 members. Now hold on to my point as Cappuccino comes in for a gank, we'll get pulled back by the Inferno Chains. But yeah, like I said, you normally want to 4-man the Rift Herald because being able to utilize Rift Herald properly usually gives you about a 2.5 to 3k gold lead, just from virtue of plates as well as first structure. Like, you see this all the time in like LEC, LCS, LCK, where it's like 10 minutes-ish, and they already make the move to swap up to the Rift Herald. So I do want to see that, because the Grand Entrance is going to knock 2 members up. The Unbreakable will stop the bullet time in its tracks, so all for nothing there in the bot lane, although they will be able to land some chip damage. No summer spells were used there.
Yep, Cappuccino waiting on the controller. It looks like she's gonna back off a bit. I think Corgi has been in the lane for a while. Oh, Lustreless, take that wall in.
Grand Starfall coming in as well. The flash across the wall and the step behind me got them out of danger, but they're not fully out of it yet as Candleburn will be able to pick up the first kill and Lustreless gets the second here. So right now, what is the play? Are they gonna look to take the plates, or is it gonna be a Mountain Dragon right now?
Yeah, they've got the wave coming in, which just auto took plate number 2 for them over in the bot side. Looks like we're gonna clear up a bit of vision, steal the blue buff. Going to be pretty nice. It's not as useful on Pantheon. The thing is, it's an excellent deny off of Yura's Aru's already been having such a bad time in the lane 0 and 2, down about 20 CS off of the Pantheon, and then that into another dragon, first dragon of the game. Whew,
Remember I brought up
disaster.
this point earlier, I think today, where Cappuccino also made the same trade. Her bot lane died and then she walked over and took the Herald because she knew everyone was bot side, right?
Yep.
The argument still stands. If you can fight a lane to make the play happen,
Oh, Corgi!
check for ultimatum being used, but I think Coco should be getting it, yeah. She didn't use the Hextech ultimatum in time to dodge away and she basically got chunked out. In addition to having already an early disadvantage from the ganks coming in.
Yeah, Cappuccino is nearby, but really, she's not going to be able to do
Yeah.
anything versus
Why is
the
she-
Aatrox, so they're just going to give up the plates with the... I mean, she got Shelly and then she just
Yeah.
recalled.
She just like straight recalled, right?
Yeah.
I think you could just like literally sit around and just eat EXP from the wave, considering you are behind in EXP. Like, you don't have to really fight the Aatrox, you just stand there and soak the EXP.
Yeah, that is true, because it's not as if Kimel was going to
Yeah.
TP back into the lane anyway,
Mhm.
she's taking the long walk, so it's really just free EXP that you're missing on the map.
This is bad now. Lustrous is level 7, Cappuccino level 5. My earlier point about how if you pick up the early Herald in trade, fine, but you need to find a window to use it.
Exactly, and the thing is when you're behind it's just so hard. Oh, Trump gonna land onto Lustrous, actually a lot of very good damage coming up, but not gonna be able to convert that into a kill. Of course, this has the
Ignite,
back
Spirit
out,
Rush, the
Candleburn
second
and
one
Clear out
going
here.
in.
No!
Should be able to pick her up. The healing though from the
Val-
refillable potion will keep her alive, and now all eyes onto Vayne as she puts up the wall and will be caught out here by the quickness, the charm. Oh, I say that. Stand behind me, across onto Cappuccino, keeps her safe. The spear though from Candleburn. Can she get it? Great stun. Dawning Shadow a little too late. You have to think that the call was a bit too late from Camellia.
Yep, and that, kids, is why I cannot stress this enough, why you pop your potions early.
Unfortunate, but now with 3 men stacked in the mid lane and the cannon, they should be able to pick up at least 2 plates here, I believe.
Yep. Oh, it's 12 minutes in. The score's actually 8-0 right now in favor of Asterisk. They're about a bit more than 6,000 gold. Yep, did you manage to pick up that plate before Team Corgi come back? But it looks like it's just only a matter of time before the first tower falls. Asterisk have about 2 minutes to pick up the last couple of plates before tower plate gold won't be available anymore. But it's pretty much they've gotten 3 plates on pretty much every single first tower right now.
Lustrous is going to get caught out here. She's dead. Like, there is no question about this. The question is whether Mayo is going to die as well. She might be able to turn this one around with the charm completely whiffing though. Hex the ultimatum was used very early as Mayo flashes forward, looks to get the damage down. The third Q though, not hitting means that Yura should be able to get the kill here. Charm forward, here comes the Dread Starfall. Candle looking to chase for some revenge. The Q was a little too short there. Should have charged it up maybe a bit longer as a great pillar is going to stop the engage there. Diving this might not be the smartest idea as the charm is going to connect, and you have to think that Candleburn wants out here.
Yeah, that was really good on Cappuccino as well to hold that flash to the very last second to make it out. Pretty nice play. Right now, Vayne and Camellia going to be trying to push in this bot side. They've gotten no power plates at all.
Mayo is
in the
actually
early
coming in for the
game.
gank. The teleport off the side. I don't think that anyone
Aw,
has really spotted this as the
man.
Weaver's Wall comes in as well. Who do we want first? Is it going to be Vayne or is it Camellia? Because the Braum is already down and Lustrous probably can't really chase up forward. I say that. The Seismic Shaft pushes Camellia into range, and the Darkin Blade should be able to pick her up after the stopwatch is done.
Easy double kill for the squad of Team Asterisk. We're just saying that Corgi, do they really want to push in? I mean, you look at the squad of Team Asterisk, they have the Weaver Tilia, they've got a Pantheon as well, just very effective
Double
gap
global
close.
presence.
Exactly. Pushing up, so that's not really the sort of play that you want to make. But as you were saying earlier, you know, they do have Shelly over in the top side. They saw 4 members down in bot side. This is kind of their response. They are going to be able to pick up the kill onto Candleburn eventually.
Okay.
There it
Barely
is.
getting out with the passive, dying. not really dying rather, but Kendallbird dying did give some health regeneration back across the Cappuccino.
Yep. Although just barely past the 14-minute mark, which means that unfortunately
No
Corgi
plates.
don't get any play gold. No, they did. I think it was their last ditch attempt. You saw them channel the showing in top lane to try and maybe pick up some extra gold, but that didn't work out. But they should be happy enough to get the kill onto Candleburn and without Cappuccino dying, crucially. Right now, Vini's gonna be waiting around at the mid side right here. We're not gonna. It's gonna go down really quick,
Dragon,
so I don't think.
I guess is actually spawned in a couple, or rather will be spawning in a couple of seconds. So I feel like that is the current objective for both teams. Downside is that Mayo has no TP, so she's gonna have to ostensibly just push the wave out and walk down, right? There's no way for her to join in globally. Another way they could play this out is have Candle go to the top side and Mayo play in the mid lane, because Pantheon has that global or quasi-global presence to join in if he needs to.
Asterisk is so far ahead. Mayo is actually level 11. Vayne was level 6. Camille's Senna is level 8 right now. It's actually ridiculous how far ahead, especially the Aatrox is right now.
Right, so they will take down mid tier 1 and we'll walk it in right now. It's the Inferno that's up, so by process of elimination, their soul in this game is going to be either the Cloud or the Ocean.
Yeah, this is really tough for Team Corgi, because we were saying about how a lot of their
The Ocean. Oh,
picks hinge on the Senna scaling into the late game, and at this point, oh, that Mayo.
Mayo, Q2 is out looking for Q3. She will not be able to get it in time as the Dawning Shadow picks up the kill there. Not exactly a kill secured, because you could have seen Camille getting it, but at least they all share the assist gold there.
Yeah, they're trying to keep their topside tier 1 from going down against their last remaining tier 1 tower that is still up for them.
I think that the Asterisk side is probably going to find this
Cappuccino,
done, and Cappuccino is going to get caught out. Knocked up, knocked in, stolen away is the Rift Herald, and unless Camille can make a play here.
Yeah, that's the thing with the jungle Talia. When she gets a hit, she does so much burst damage.
I found that out the right way. Like
the right way or the wrong way?
Like, I was playing a load of jungle Talia. I was like, wow, this is really strong.
Exactly. Once you get a hit, you do so much. You have pretty much everything. You have an ability, you have burst. You don't quite have the lockdown CC because a lot of your kit involves you landing the W.
Which is fine. You have a Pantheon, you have a Aatrox. They're gonna do the CC for you. You just bring the damage.
You just need to look good at it.
Right, now so they swapped it up. Aya is gonna show in the top side together with Clara piling up. I'm not sure if they can make the play on Camille. She's actually pretty strong still, even though she is level 11 compared to Mayo's 12. One of the next moves coming in, we can see the items being completed. It's a Luden's Echo for Yura in the mid lane, whereas Kando already has double lethality items.
Yeah, things are a bit rough because we're saying about how you need Senna to scale into late game. However, they're already so far behind right now. That's just that's just delaying when Senna becomes powerful. And we said that Ari pick was going to try and tie them over from the early to mid side, but Ari hasn't really gotten much of a lead. Plus, she's gone for a Luden's Echo, and the thing is, you've lost all your tier 1s. You don't have the option to put down Vision into the jungle to try and get those sneaky charms, try and get those ganks that will carry you into late game. So I don't think that Corgi actually have a lot of options right now.
They're gonna get caught out here as Cappuccino is found in the jungle. A lot of flashes expanded to pick up the Trundle. I think they will definitely want to claim this here, as they will lose the Herald in top side. Shelly goes down for her hard work though. The turret will get dropped to about 5% of health and will be picked up in the second rotation across. So they find the Trundle, they get the turret, and now they are free to journey into this top quadrant as they see fit.
No!
The route is going to land onto 2 people though. It would have been a bit dicey if there were more members on the Corgi side, but instead it will be a disengage here coming in for Asterisk, and they will back off.
Yeah, one of the things when you play, when one of your teammates is on champions such as the Braum, such as the Lee Sin, is that you kind of need to have good awareness of the rest of your teammates, because part of your kit, that extra mobility or just how aggressive that you can play if you're on Braum or Lee Sin is, or like Aurelia, is the fact that like you need one of your teammates to kind of do the bro thing and walk a bit towards you so you can like jump or dash onto them. That's kind of the way that Vayne likes to play. She wants to like be one of those players that is being proactive, making those moves. So it's good to see that her team is really trying to enable her, trying to help her do that.
Right. Item differentials between ADC is actually pretty big right now. You can see Aya making some Infinity Edge almost done. It's like literally the last component in the recipe and she's good. Whereas Amelia is looking a bit low economy right now. Did finish the mana move. Will be moving towards the Dust Blade. Top of that? It's the traditional. Oh, hold on. She was on the top side.
Blocking
Cappuccino
off
hiding
Cappuccino.
towards her opponent's base though, as Clara will use the Grand Entrance to get across. Here comes the Grand Starfall. It's a game of hide and seek, and Cappuccino has been found here as they all focus her down. With the jungler dead, there is a window for Baron to be taken.
Yeah, such an early Baron as well. 20 minutes and 10 seconds.
Or you can just do that. You can just flash across the wall and stun up the mid laner. Vayne with the Unbreakable was able to save Yura's life.
The thing is, if you take a look at the map right now on the top side of Rid, just look at how many blue wards there are. It's just so enabling for the squad of Team Asterisk to just do those flash over the wall plays from the Baron whenever they see anyone from the side of Team Corgi. There's absolutely no way that Corgi can contest this Baron right here.
Claimed without any issue, whereas in the bot side they're like, okay, since they're definitely doing Baron, we can try and take Dragon. No, Mayo is guarding that hit so heavily, and if you walk in right now, I feel like she has the potential to just scare them away if she wants to. But the safe play right now is just, okay, we grab Baron, we go back reset, and then we allocate ourselves to our Simon.
Yeah, it's very time efficient actually for Team Asterisk, because what they did was by pulling Mayo instead into the mid, she was actually in mid lane as the Baron went down, which meant that she was able to give Baron buff over to the entire mid-side wave as it pushed in. It's just those extra seconds might make a difference.
Oh man, she has so much CDR right now. It's actually quite frustrating to deal with. Like, if you're anyone dueling the Aatrox right now, the amount of CDR she has makes it so difficult for you to lock her down, much less output meaningful damage. Lane allocations coming through. Mayo is going to be playing on the bottom side with TP. Meanwhile, 3-4 members of Asterisk will be sitting in mid-sieging up.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for Corgi right here to really protect against any sort of siege. You can see Vayne and Yura trying their best, putting down vision over in the top side, but once again, the map coverage, now that Asterisk know that they're going to be pushing in towards the top half of the map, you can see how they set up earlier, and there are so many blue wards in the top side of Rid jungle. It's really the amount of setup and preparation is something that I think is really impressive that we've been seeing from Asterisk today.
All eyes on the bot lane as the push is coming in. Mayo is just going to solo down this tier 2, no problem whatsoever. And I think that is what she wrote. All the outer turrets are down, and now they can start to make their way to the base. Farm coming through. Weaver's wall is actually going to block off this retreat. So Cappuccino has no way over because she doesn't have a flash. Meanwhile, Yura has to stick on this side of the wall. They ostensibly split them up and will be looking to siege down. There's a small window for them to pick this fight if they want to. But I think no.
Yeah, I mean, Aya with the IE as well as Essence Reaver is just doing so much auto attack damage. They take from the towers just so fast right now. Asterisk don't look done yet. 5-9 rotating over to pick up the bottom side inhibitor as well. This might be the last team fight.
You have to think that Corgi needs to do something because they just lost double inhibitors, and if they just hold on like this, they're going to get choked out. So I think that Corgi's butt has to make a play, and they have to make a play now. Speaking of which, Asterisk is just going to jump in the Grand Entrance as well as the Dawning Shadow in response. But there goes the bullet time. It's actually ripping the left side apart. The Unbreakable wasn't in a good position to protect the back line. So right now, Asterisk chunked everyone out. You don't really find the kills that they need, but they will be open to moving to the top side and getting the last inhibitor right now.
Yep, once again going to go the slow, measured route, take things by the book this time for manning the top side. I want to pick up the very last inhibitor tower, but Corgi gonna 5v4 this right now. Pantheon over by the side.
They're waiting for the wombo combo. It's the stun into flip back from Lustrous, but that being said, they are not confident that they want to stick around. Could just back off and buy a next set of items coming through. Lustrous might be waiting for Morello Nomicon to be finished and possibly pick up a stopwatch as well, whereas everyone else is stacking items. Like, they are rolling in dough right now.
Yeah, Lustrous is going for the full M pen build, and the thing is, because she's pretty much the only one who has that amount of magic damage on her team, there's no one from the side of Corgi who's going to buy something like Merc Treads, which means that she does so much damage with that magic penetration.
She went for the Leandries, which is great. Like, I think that's a great buy. But there's an argument, and like, I know a lot of people are on the don't buy Morello hate train.
It's
either like you don't. I get it, but they do have a center, so the healing can be reduced with Morello. So I'm saying there is an argument to be made about buying Morello here. Well, the entrance is great as well.
Alright, Charm going to go wide from Yura once again. Asterisk with that setup. I don't know if I'm a ward geek. I just love seeing good vision coverage. Like earlier, right, that 20-minute Baron, before the Baron goes down, Asterisk lays down all the wards on the top side, and then we saw they're trying to push the tier 2. You look around, they've already got so many wards behind the tier 2. I just like to see that.
Speaking of that, of which, unfortunately, Corgis are just going to be seeing their base fall
Oh,
shambles as the
that
seismic
W!
shove did so much damage there. Charm in onto Mayo though, but I don't think the Aatrox walking towards you is what you want. Being rooted up as well. This is going to signal to the minions to stream in even quicker, as now they will have double super cannon minions streaming in.
Looks like that might be the very last push from Team
I
Asterisk.
think Corgi might just call it here. They're looking for one final engage as the Weaver's Wall is going to split the front line and the back. Nexus is completely exposed. One last explosive fight to pad the KDAs. The bullet time is going to allow them to get the Trundle as well as the Braum. And now they're looking to back off the Hextech Ultimatum, doing nothing at all. Mayo is just a force of nature in the front line, landing the Darkened Blades. And just for style points, they're going to dive in, they're going to stopwatch, they will be looking to close out the game.
What a clean game from the side of Team Asterisk. I mean, if I were any of the other 7 teams in FSL, SG, MYID right now, I would be so worried, because the thing about Asterisk is that this was the 3rd game we've seen from them today, and it seems as if every single game they play, they get better and better and better.
Look at the damage dealt on screen. Jeez, Lustrous is actually topping the charts in damage.
She's actually got top damage this game as a jungle. I mean, jungle to Leo.
Some big jungle numbers right there. With that, guys, we will at least know right now that the upper bracket finalists proceeding into tomorrow's best of 3 is going to be Asterisk. Congratulations to them. A very dominant performance today. For now, we will be shifting our attention to the lower bracket. The teams that unfortunately have dropped the game are currently playing to survive and to advance in the competition.
Yep, so our very last game for today, guys, is going to be the lower bracket game versus Team Masala versus Team Eevee. We did see Eevee play in that game number 1 versus Steelheart. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to go for a very short break before we come back for our last game of the day.